guys, this is Paul from International Scale Modeller. Myself and Lee thought it would be a good idea to do a few videos for our reference section. So I'm going to do one today on paints. I'm going to just quickly run through, I'm not going to show any spraying, I'm just going to run through various type of paints, from primers, clear coats, all different actual types of paints themselves. And I'll quickly run through what I use them for, how I find them, etc, etc. At a later date maybe we'll do some spraying of them, but for today it's just a short video going through all the different types of paint. So we've got primers, various different types, different colours, clear coats, again all various manufacturers, cellulose, acrylic, 2-pack base, etc. Then we've got normal acrylic based paints, both water and chemical based, leading on to enamel paints from Tamiya, Humble and Revel. Most of you all know those from years ago and what have you, tended to fall a bit of popularity these days, so acrylics. And on to more specialist paints, metal based, metallizer, buffable, etc. So we'll run through each type, give a quick run through how they use, what they use for, and we'll go from there. Okay, so primers, we've got various different types of primers, all different reasons for using them, what have you, different manufacturers. I'll run through them quickly as how I use them. So one of my favourites is Vallejo's polyurethane acrylic surface primer. Fantastic stuff, absolutely brilliant. As long as you follow a few key points using it, you really can't go wrong. Number one, don't try and put it down too thickly to begin with. Dust the model with it lightly, come back a little bit thicker coat, and then lastly give it a really good coat all over. It's self-leathering, it'll leave an absolutely flawless finish behind as long as you've done your work on the model, preparing it for spray obviously. Really nice key surface for your first base coat of model colour, absolutely superb. One problem with this stuff, it's got to be allowed to dry for at least 2 days if you're going to sand it. If you're not going to sand it and you're going to spray straight onto it, I'd leave it for at least 24 hours, let it all fully dry. If you don't let it dry for a couple of days before sanding, you'll find it literally rubs the paint off rather than leaving the feathered edge. So that's the only downside to this stuff. Available in a couple of size bottles. You can get it in the larger, I think the 200ml, the 60ml, and they do the little 17ml, that size, which to be honest, waste of time buying it that big. I find this the cheapest option. I think it's about £8 a bottle, and the smaller ones are a little bit cheaper. Obviously you've got grey, they do it in white, all different colours now, black, German red, brown, German dark yellow, etc, etc. There's a multitude of different colours by them, very good stuff, absolutely superb. So that is probably my most used primer for majority of models. Next up we've got Tamiya's actual rattle cans in white and grey, 2 different sizes, different prices. I'm not sure the prices on these. These are brand new, not been used. I'm saving these for something larger that won't fit in my spray booth. That's more likely to have to be sprayed outside, so it'll be probably a ship, something in that regard. Haven't used them yet, but from what I've looked online, they're absolutely superb. They spray really nicely, and again you can key them afterwards almost straight away once they're dry. No problem there at all. Handy to have, but I haven't used them as of yet. So that's that. Alclad's primers, these are more used in preparation for their actual cellulosed metal finishes, because they are specifically made for these. To do a grey, a white, I think that's it in their microfiller primers. So they're all cellulose based, very nasty stuff. You really do need a spray booth or to be outside or really well ventilated room with a face mask with these. Like I said, they do the grey, the white, I think they do a black microfiller as well in all the primers, and then they do this one which is the gloss black base. I've just sprayed, in fact I've got it here, Tamiya's 1/6 motocrosser in this, and if you can see the shine that's left behind, that's just one coat. Hasn't been keyed and sprayed again, so that's literally what you get off one coat. It's a very nice gloss black base, and what that's in preparation for, if I just quickly grab something that's done in it, is when you come in to do a model in a metal finish. This was done using the gloss black base and then sprayed over with alkyd aluminium. What it does, it gives that lovely flawless finish, which is what you want on an NMF finish plane. So that's mainly what these are used for, especially the gloss black one, but I do use it where not perfect gloss black base is required, like I've done on the frame. But like I said in the video, you can come along once it's sprayed, take it back with some wet and dry, just as you would if you're doing a car body or body work. Take it back, it's called keying. Take off the top surface of shine, respray. You can keep doing that as much as you like. Every time you do it, it gets smoother and smoother and smoother. That's what I do when spraying the planes in the metal finish. Just keep going until I get the flawless finish I want, then finish off using the actual metal finish you want. So really good stuff. I do use the microfiller actual primer a lot of the time on smaller parts, especially something that needs to be handled quickly, because it's cellulose based, it dries unbelievably quick. You can literally handle it in a couple of minutes. So I'll use that for a lot of small parts. If I've got a big stack of parts to do for one model that I'm doing in stages, I will use that for that. The only problem is you've got to read the instructions on the bottles. They need to be sprayed at a specific pressure, whereas these can be sprayed at 20-25 psi. These are a lot lower. I think these are about 15 psi. The paints recommend between 10 and 15. I spray them at 10. The lower the better. If you spray these at a higher pressure, especially the microfiller one, they go really gritty, rough and powdery on the model. If you spray it over that, it's an absolute abomination on your model. So really pay attention to the instructions and make sure you read everything and follow them clearly. Last but not least, more of a specialist primer from Hero Boy, I think it's .com, UK based website that they specialise mainly in model car finishing, spray paints, etc, etc. This is their etch primer for photo etch parts. There's two bottles of this, is this and the hardener. You mix it 50-50 and that gives a really super smooth, excellent key to any photo etch part. Spray metal slightly different than plastic, so that's what this product's actually for. More of a specialist, but something I've got as well. So there you go, there's a quick run through all the primers. Obviously pay attention to what you're doing with them, and they'll all make an absolutely superb base coat for any of your models. Right, okay, onto the normal type of modelling paints now. We just covered primers, so these are the coats that you give your model to give them their actual colours. Various different types, different reasons why I use them. They're all that are out there, but these are the ones I tend to use most for specific reasons. The only ones I don't use all the time are the Revlon Humber enamels. I've got a couple of tins knocking about. The reason I don't use them is because I find the Tamiya enamels a lot better, a lot easier to use, and they fit my needs, which I'll come to in a little bit. So again, different manufacturers: Vallejo, Hannes Extra Acrylics, Mr. Hobby, Tamiya, Life Colour, Tamiya again, Revell and Humbrol. Once again, Humbrol do make their own acrylics now. I'm not a fan of them at all. I think they're absolutely awful to use. Same with Revell, they make their own acrylics. I steer well clear of them, do not like them whatsoever. So we start from left to right. We've got Vallejo Model Colour. Quite a thick paint in the bottle, needs to be thinned using, you can either use the diluting thinner or they brought a new one out which I haven't got yet to try. A couple of drops in a palette or tray, whatever you've got, a couple of drops of thinner and give it a good mix and you've got an absolutely fantastic paint to brush paint with. That's what I use these for. Every colour you can think of, absolutely brilliant paint, dries nice and quick. Absolutely just cannot say how good these are. They can be thinned and can be airbrushed, but we'll go to it in a minute. They do have Model Air for this, and the reason they have the Model Air is the pigment in this is a lot bigger than the Model Air, which you'll see if you've ever airbrushed it. Mix it with water or a little bit of Tamiya X20A. You can airbrush them, but these are my go-to brush paint. They're 17mm bottles, drop a top, so nice precise. You can take the top off so you can get to the access inside. Nice easy quick cap on, away you go. And like I say, every colour under the rainbow done by them. Absolutely love them. I've used these since I came back to hobby 3 years ago, and I wouldn't change them for anything else whatsoever. They're the only brush paintable paint I have, bar a couple of light colours which I'll explain a little bit. So that's that one. Vallejo Model Air, again not as wide a range of colours as the Model Colour, but these are specifically thinned or they're supposed to be, for airbrushing. It's a much finer pigment than in the model colour, which allows you to airbrush a lot better. Obviously the smaller pigment goes through your smaller airbrush nozzles and what have you a lot easier. They are supposed to be ready thinned. They're not. They're too thick. It's a good thing because if you thin them you get more to the bottle, same as them. A bottle of this will last you years. So I mix a little bit of this, probably 80% Model Air, 20% bit of Tamiya X28, and it sprays absolutely superb. Really, really good. Multitude of colours. I bought these originally because of the RLM colours, the German Luftwaffe colours. They've just released a lot of the FS colours as well as the RAL. So you got a good base cover there. They also do a metallic finish one, which I'll come to in a little bit. The only thing I found, and some personal experiences, a lot of the RLM colours don't tally up to the actual colour. So if you do use them, make sure you're happy with it before you spray. If you're not really that bothered about getting an exact colour match, it's nothing to worry about, but there are differences which lead us to our next one and why I use them. But Vallejo Model Air, I did stop using them for a while. I've come back, like them again. I've got a lot of paint, and I mean a lot of different paint, but everything's got specific uses. But I do like these, but they do need thinning regardless of what anybody says. So that's that one. Hand and Tone extra acrylics. They used to do the enamel based extra colour. A lot of people don't like these. A lot of people have problems with them. I haven't had one problem with them yet. Every time I use them, they just spray super smooth, absolutely perfectly. Again, a couple of notes. I've got their actual extra acrylics thinner. I don't like it. I prefer to use it with Tamiya X28. And also I like to use a little bit of Winsor & Newton Flow Aid in there. A couple of drops in your colour cup, and I have not had a problem yet. They're quite a thin paint. They do take a little bit of getting used to. But with them being thin, and because majority of them are in aircraft colours, it's excellent for you to showing your pre-shading, because you can really gauge when you're putting it down what you've got. Colour range, I think there's about 90 bottles in total. They go through from RLM to British colours to BS colours, up to FS, obviously modern military, and then you've got the few odd ones, a couple of the older RAL colours, a lot of the RAF colours, and that's a bit really, but really can't fault them. Pay attention to what you're doing, give them a try if you haven't, because the colour matches, especially the RLMs, absolutely superb, and that's what I use these for. That's why I got them originally. Absolutely spot on matches to all the RLM colours, so if it's a German plane or an RAF plane, I will be using these because I like the colour matches. I think they're absolutely superb. Recently I tried the German armour colours, dark yellow, dark brown and the green and what have you, and again superb, absolutely flawless finish. One of my favourites, 100%. A lot of people worry about it. Just try it, follow what I just said and see how you get on. Really, really good paint. You're missing out if you're not using those. New one to me. I did a review of these 3 models about a month ago. Mr. Hobby Aqueous Colours. I was that impressed. I've just gone out and bought the entire range, all 150 of them. Absolutely superb. Big Tamiya fan. I am. These knock spots off the Tamiya. Multitude of colours. Again, RLM colours. So another choice for me. FS colours, and plus some absolutely superb colours in the range. Really unusual colours, being Japanese, typical. Absolutely brilliant. Thin them using their Mr. Colour Thinner. They do need thinning quite a lot more than Tamiya paints, as I found out in that review. If you get a chance to watch it, have a look. But absolutely superb. They spray brilliantly. They take a little bit longer to dry than Tamiya's, but absolutely superb. Cannot fault them whatsoever. One of my favourites again now. Tamiya's acrylics and the XF and the F, so you've got gloss and flat finishes. Been out for a long time, everybody knows these paints. Absolutely shocking to hand paint with, hate hand painting with them. You go over a part, it's too thin a paint to hand paint with, so you go over it again with a brush, it just drags off the paint. Absolutely useless to brush paint with, absolutely hate it. Airbrushing, 50-50 mixed with their own X28 thinner, superb. They spray really well, good choice of different colours. Bit weird, some of the colours, they don't match up what they should, they're kind of an in-between, but again, got the uses, still a good paint to start with, but for me, the Mr. Hobby wipes the spot off them, to be honest. But still, usable. I've got the full range, as I have the extra acrylics, full range of these, full range of Tamp Model Air, most of the Model Colour, all the Mr. Hobbies. I've got quite a lot, as you can tell. So again, these are all acrylic based. The Model Colour, Model Air are water based, as to are the extra acrylics. Mr. Hobby is, but the thinner isn't. It smells like cellulose based to me, so quite whiffy once you get it going. Tamiya paints, supposed to be water based, they're not. I believe it's isopropanol alcohol with a bit of retarder in. Life Colour, water based again. Haven't used these to airbrush. All of these I have. I've only got 1 or 2 sets of these. I've got the flesh colours because I like the different tones they do. It's a set of 6 different tones, bases and shadows. It's the only reason I've got these. And I've got their oil stains, fuel stains, what have you, set for weathering. These brush paints are absolutely lovely, really nice, just like a pre-thinned Model Colour. Very nice. I know you can airbrush them. I believe they're actually pig to airbrush. There needs to be a real low pressure, 10 to 12 psi, and you have to use their thinner or you get real problems. I haven't airbrushed them yet, so I've got no idea. I'm not going to comment on that. But for what I use them for, which is mainly painting faces on figures, really, really nice, dry, lovely and quick. Clean off the brush easily, as do Model Colour, and don't need thinning. Just lid off, which is what I like. Lid off, you pick your paint off the lid, dip it into the bottle, away you go. A lot easier way. I did at one point consider selling all my Model Colour and get the full range of these, but I think they'd really struggle to beat the Model Colours, so I'll be keeping those for now. Now, enamel based. I started off using enamel based paints. To me they're an absolute nightmare, but they do have the use. They take ages to dry, they stink, they're a pain to clean out your airbrush, pain to clean off your brushes. The little tins are an absolute nightmare because they're right when they're new. A couple of times on and off you start getting crusty lids, which just, it makes life so difficult. So I steer clear of the Humbrels and the Rebels. Do not use them. I've just got a couple of tins knocking about. I've got near enough the full range of Tamiya enamels, which are nigh on impossible to get in this country. I got them from Japan. Screw top lid, all the colours match all the X numbers on the acrylics. I use these for weathering, and when I say weathering armour. So, like I just said, slow drying enamels does have its use. You can create rusting effects, streaking effects, all various different weathering effects using enamels, whether it be the Tamiya, the Revel or the Humbrel. They'll all do the same job. I just like these because A, the Tamiya, and B, they're in a screw top lid, which makes it a lot easier to get. So I know a lot of people still use enamels and a lot of people swear by them. If you're still using enamels and you haven't used acrylics, trust me, go and try acrylics. Get yourself some Model Colour to brush paint with. Probably a good starter, Tamiya, to be honest, because the Mr. Hobby needs thinning quite a bit more. It just takes a bit of getting used to. Try and, you know, try something new. I can't stand enamels, absolutely hate them, been there and done it. I can't see any bonus in using them whatsoever other than weathering. So if you're still using enamels, give some acrylics a go and see what you think. Right, okay, so there's part 1 of our paint guide done. We've covered primers and general modelling paints, acrylics and enamels and what have you. Part 2, we'll come back, we'll cover metallizer paints, clear coats, thinners, and also airbrush and brush cleaners. So that'll run through basically all the paint guide then in part 1 and part 2. If you're not already a member of our forum and want to know anything about it, it's set up by myself and Lee. Lee you'll know from Scale Model Review. He's got a quite popular review YouTube channel. Myself, I do video builds for emodels.co.uk. We've both collaborated together and set up our own forum, International Scale Modeler, covering worldwide members, all aspects of modelling. We've got sections for YouTube channels, so if you've got a channel, join up, give us a shout, we'll set you up with your own section for your channel, so get you more traffic for your channel. Also gives you a forum you can talk on, give tips, ask advice, show your builds, picture builds, gallery, you name it, anything, we've got it on there. So International Scale Modeler, our forum address is www.interscalemodeler.com. So that's intscalemodeler.com. If you just Google it, you'll find us. So I'll see you in part 2.